The Last Dragon. This is a strange one. But let's go to the background. The background is it was released in 1985. It's rated PG-13. It's kind of a martial arts and comedy movie. Now, this one's it's a bit hard to follow. A couple spots it seems like, we as the audience are kind of in the middle of a long drama between the characters, but we missed out on part of the story. Our main character in this show is Leroy. He's kind of a martial arts fanatic, and he goes on this quest to become a master. However, he has a rival. His name's Shonuff, sometimes called the Shogun of Harlem, that he kind of constantly wants to challenge him because he wants to be the best fighter around, and Leroy kind of stands in his way. We don't know why he knows that Leroy is some type of master, but that's what chases him. It kind of haunts him. Our story picks up just as Leroy leaves his master to go find this another master with the last lesson. So he wants this last lesson. This master lives in New York, which is convenient because that's where Leroy lives. And we find out that Leroy has a family, kind of has a dad and a mom and a brother and a sister, none of which are in martial arts at all. So the very contrasting difference. We're not sure why Leroy is what Leroy does, but in fact, his younger brother, just thinks Leroy is nuts, and he doesn't want anything to do with Leroy. However, their worlds kind of collide when they get involved with a music host named Vanity. Now, Vanity runs a show kind of like the Soul Train. So if you go, remember back from the 70s and maybe early 80s, the Soul Train, there was singing and dancing. The main bad guy wants his girlfriend's, she's got these terrible songs played on Vanity's show, so he's trying to get that to Vanity to play him, but she refuses to do. So the bad guys, Eddie Arcadian, he's kind of the one that's kind of drives this narrative and tries to kind of rough up Vanity. But Leroy comes to her aid, so now Leroy and Vanity are in love. More Vanity kind of pressing for Leroy, because Leroy, at this point, he really wants to complete his mission. He's really focused on that. He wants to get a magic power called the glow. Once you have the glow, you can do magical things, I guess. So, after a few run-ins with Leroy, Eddie hires a bunch of thugs. Shonuff is kind of also shows up and wants to take Leroy down. Now, Leroy has a martial arts dojo, and with them they have some battles with the thugs. And Leroy and Shonuff then battle it out to save Vandy. And this is where he finally masters his last lesson. Well, I rate this one 2 out of 4 stars. It's strange and weird, but it sort of works. It's kind of like a late-night movie flick. It kind of has that golden child aspects to it. They never really explain why Leroy's the way Leroy is, and it takes a lot of inspiration from Bruce Lee films, which they feature a lot. They try to mix it up with some it's got that 1980s New York vibe, the music, the breakdancing, the ghetto blasters, the 80s shades even. The ones with the with the lines, the slots. Now, I'm not sure if it holds up over time. It's very much a product of the time. It makes sense for where it was or what time it was. It kind of has some Big Trouble Little China aspects to it too, especially with the glow and the kind of the magic that kind of goes on. It's not bad per se, but it's perhaps not a must-see watch either. The stuff with Eddie and his girlfriend is pretty much garbage. It's kind of pointless. It's kind of a weak plot point. It's just kind of there to get Vandy's storyline to kind of mix with Leroy's storyline. But I think they should just focus purely on Shonuff instead and kind of battle that out. And well, thanks for watching this one.